Hi Foundation! I've got another story for you. This one is particularly for Jack, who told me that he would like to learn a little bit more about earthworms. So I found this story, Jack, that I think you might enjoy. It's called Wonderful Worms, and it's by a lady called Linda Glaser. And you see a little boy on the front cover? He has a wiggly worm in his hand. And underneath the grass, in the soil, are lots of worms digging their little burrows. Wonderful worms. Earthworms are fat and wriggly, like my fingers and toes. Can you make your fingers into a worm? They live where it is cool and dark and damp, where roots spread out like underground trees. Here are the roots of the tree. Who's here? A little mouse in her house and a worm coming along his little tunnels. Worms feel sounds with their whole bodies. They feel thunder when I walk. You see little boys walking in the garden, so when his feet hit the ground, to the worms under the ground, it feels like thunder. They are wonderful diggers. They dig passageways and burrows. But they don't use shovels or fingers or toes. So how do they do it? Well, do you know what? They eat their way through and then move along. So they eat the soil, make a space and move into it. They stretch out long and thin and squeeze in short and fat. Stretch and squeeze, eat and dig, move and dig. Who's this up here? It's a snake. What sound does snake begin with? That's right. Earthworms mix and turn the dirt as they dig and tunnel in the earth. Here's somebody else who lives under the ground. Do you know who this might be? Looks a bit like a shrew, but I think he's eating a worm. They make the soil soft and airy so the roots of plants can breathe and grow. Look, another animal on top of the surface of the soil. This one is a snail. And this could be a salamander, another type of newt. Worms don't have eyes or ears or a nose, but they do have a mouth. And they need food, just like I do, but they eat dirt and rotting leaves. So they come up to the surface and then they eat all the dead leaves that are on the top of the ground there. A little mouse having a nibble of a mushroom by the light of a moon. They swallow tiny pieces, and inside the worms, the food changes. Who else is having a little snack? That's right, a bunny. What fruit's he eating? Strawberries. Strawberries. When it comes out of their tail ends, it makes the earth rich so plants can grow. So the worm eats the food and changes it inside its body And then when it comes out, the other end, it's like a fertiliser for the plants. Earthworms are my helpers, the underground gardeners. We work hard in the dirt in my garden, their home. See the little boy? He's picking some flowers. And his dog is watching him. Any idea what these fruit are? Yeah, that's right there, watermelon. And there's lots of facts at the back of this book. I'm going to read you a couple because this will help Jack. First question is, do earthworms bite people? And the answer is no, because earthworms don't bite anyone because they don't have any teeth. And then the next question is, why are earthworms slimy? Their skin needs to be moist in order to breathe. That's because earthworms breathe through their skin. Also, moist skin makes it easier for the earthworm to move through their burrows. If an earthworm dries out, it will die. So when you find an earthworm on a patio or on a path on the road, it's a good idea to move it and get it back to the soil so it can get underground so it doesn't dry out. And the last question, where do earthworms go in the winter? Well, they go down deep into the ground below the frost line and they curl up in their burrows. Have you got any questions about an earthworm? Why don't you ask me and I'll see if the book can tell us the answer. See you soon, Foundation.